We're something. We're
Oh,
doing
oh, we
something.
live. We live.
We are
Yeah,
live.
yes. Just so you
Okay,
know,
okay,
it it
okay.
it it prompt me. It says we are live at the moment.
Hey, I got no problem with that. So here's the thing. It is all on you to introduce us and the whole 9 yards, and we can sit and be quiet.
Oh my goodness. Guys, you are here for a reason. I didn't just pop up here and looking all cute. Y'all know I'm cute, right? Because I am the fabulous Camille Robb. And I am viewing here from Orlando, Florida, the Sunshine State. And I am here with my partner, Dr. Pastor Dorothy Ross. And we have a special guest that have been through hell and back, and the devil said, "Don't come back. There ain't no space for you." And
Wow.
we're gonna have a conversation that's gonna empower you and enlighten you so you could understand that no matter what you're going through in your life, you too can stand up and fight for what is yours.
And
So
before the fabulous Camille goes on, I would just want to welcome everybody to Porch Talk Live. Let it rip, where there is nothing that we don't talk about here. Okay. We don't do politics, but we talk about everything else. And I am so honored that she decided to take the wheel today. And, she's going to drive and I'm going to get in the back seat and I'm going to lean back and rest today. So I'm going to turn it back over to the fabulous Camille Robb.
this is a notebook, this is a pen. And the reason why I tell you, you need to have this because you never know what Pastor Nadine may say to you that you might want to take note of. You never know what question she may answer that might help you. So, welcome to Porch Talk Live with nothing but blessings upon blessings and let it rip. We have decided that we're going to come together at least once a month, put our team together, and we're going to just talk, have conversation that will help the next person. Now, I want to introduce to you Pastor Nadine Ambassador. Let me not forget that. Ambassador Pastor Nadine Banks. Now, I've known her a couple of years now through a very good friend of mine, Tina Wong, and she have touched a lot of people's soul, helped a lot of women. And she wanted to talk to you today about her story. One of the stories that she want to talk to you about is the same thing that we talked about a few weeks ago when Pastor Dorothy Mae Ross was talking about cancer and how she got up and fight and kick the butt in cancer. So welcome,
Thank
Ambassador
you.
Nadine.
Thank
Can
you
you
for
do me a
having me.
favor?
Sure.
Please tell them a little bit about yourself and who you are and how you serve.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me here with you, sitting on the porch with you today. I am Nadine, ambassador, apostle, nurse, pastor, Nadine Patricia Binns. I hail from Kingston, Jamaica, and I'm living in the USA for many, many years. I am just this Renaissance woman who life has taught how to live it and live it to the fullest daily, touching lives, impacting lives, giving a little bit of me on a day to day basis to anyone whom I encounter.
Now, one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Pastor Nadine, is with all that life had thrown at you, how do you find time to help others?
I believe, and I've told people all the time that, we're born for certain reasons. Purpose, it's called purpose. We're born with a purpose. And until you know your purpose, then you will find your comfort zone. So God gave me this passion for people to nurture. Hence, I'm a nurse. People at work may ask me on a day-to-day basis, how do you look like you're not tired? Or how do you look like you're not frustrated? I said, because this is my purpose. So I'm living my purpose. And then, of course, we have the internet and the Wi-Fi, and we have the new techniques and technologies. And so it allows me to reach somebody on the phone across the miles right here where I am. And so I'm living my purpose.
Mm.
I like that. I'm living my purpose. I'm living my
Yes.
purpose. Now, we're going to tap into something a lot of people kind of shy away of, talking about cancer. When you first found out that you had cancer, what was your reaction?
I welcomed it. I said, bring it on, devil.
Oh,
I didn't ask why me. I asked why not me? Because I'm ready to fight. Life is a challenge, and everything you face, you must take it head on with a challenge. See, there's a challenge and take it head on. So when the doctor told me I was at work, I mean, I knew everything that was going on, the bleeding, we'll get to that and all that. And when they called me to confirm, which I already knew, I was at work and everybody was around me and they were waiting, pressing in. And I go like this, yes, it is. And they started screaming and crying and they said, why you? Why you? And I said, why not me? I said, because God chose me for this. So I took it on as another challenge in my life because I know I was ready to, I was getting ready to learn another phase of how to live life.
wow. That's very powerful. And
Amen.
one thing I've learned in my young life is that if you haven't been there, you cannot teach it.
Can't teach it. So how it started was I was living in New York and I'm coming from work and a sudden tiredness came down on me. And so I'm a person that listens to my body. I will go to the doctor 24 times in 1 month if I have to. I
Mm.
do not run away from what is or what could be. And so I stopped and I said, wow, this tiredness feels weird. But I kept on my journey till I got home. When I got home, all I could do was just lay in bed. So I got up and I went to shower because the fighter I am and everything. I got up, I went to shower. But you know how Jamaicans are, we do breast check and clean our nipples and all that. And the left nipple says something is going on. So when I squeezed it, I saw this. I cannot, to this date, I cannot explain the blood that I saw because it wasn't red like we know the bright red.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a raspberry, blueberry blood. And I was like, honey, come here. Something is wrong. I said, did you scratch me or something? And he's like, no. I said, there's blood coming from my breast and this don't look good. It's coming from my
Mm.
nipple. And he says, nothing is wrong. But then I went to the doctor. They told me nothing is wrong. But I kept looking at my body. Then I noticed a little mass all the way up on here. And I was like, this isn't right. So I went to the doctor. The doctor told me nothing is wrong.
Jesus.
Should have sued them, but it's okay. I changed my name from Sue to Nadine. And then I went home. I went home and I started wearing my little, I said, I'm going to watch this. So white. I started sleeping in little white tops. And I noticed the smears of blood from that side. That's when I went to Harlem to the doctor, did the test. And this time, when I went and they were doing the mammogram and they squeezed it down, the blood was just dripping. When I say dripping, it was
Oh,
just
wow.
dripping. And I'm standing there looking at it. I'm like, I said to the lady, you don't have to be afraid. I know what it is. I'm a nurse. And she said, okay. And the doctor, they told me, called me and told me, yes, it's cancer. And when I saw my doctor at Harlem, he said, we have to take your goodies off. No, give me another week to contemplate this, please. Because it's not easy losing a part of you,
Yes.
your highlight of your body. And he said, he's from Africa. He said, let me tell you something. You weren't born with it. You can always get another one. And as
Oh.
harsh as that sounded, it was comforting to me to know that I could receive another breast. So the following week, they took off the breast. They did radical mastectomy, and I was diagnosed with HER2 negative breast cancer, ductal carcinoma in situ, which means that it is in the ducts. And this thing was going rapidly, like a demon, you know? It was just going rapidly. The doctor said to me, your breast is severely diseased. And I'm like, okay. He said, so you got to take it off. We can't keep it. But I was glad that I did because I learned a lot through that process. I learned self-care in giving of myself to people on a daily basis. I have learned when and how to draw back and say, okay, Nadine, it's your time. Even if it's with
Mm.
a sip of tea, or just playing a song or just doing that, it has taught me how to do that. So my journey was long. I did chemo for a year. And I want to tell you, there are people that you expect to be there for you and to cheer you on and say, you're going to do this, you're going to make this. But
Mhm.
my oncologist, she was young and prissy, and probably in the high prime of her life. And she looked at me and she said, woman with this kind of cancer never live.
Mm.
I said, I'm going
Oh.
to tell you something today. I was 41 years old. It was a day before my birthday that I was diagnosed. And so I said to her, yes, what a birthday gift. And I said to her, what did you just say? She said, a woman with your type of cancer does not live. I said, I'm going to promise you something. In 10 years' time and beyond, I will be back to say hello to you. I said, and as of today, you're fired. So I walked out of that room after she diagnosed me, tell me my treatment, my breast was already gone. You're going to tell me I'm going to die. Now let's get ready to fight and survive. I was ready to live. And so we cannot give up when we get diagnosis. You cannot shy away. You cannot be afraid of it because whatever is to be will be. And so I took on that fight. I went down to another hospital and my doctor referred me to a nice Hispanic lady. And when I walked in her office, she said to me, God is in this. And I
Mm.
said, yes, I'm in the right place.
Mm.
Let the show begin. And so I did my chemo, I did my radiation, and I came out on top. Now, the chemo was a harsh type. Nowadays, they have some new types, and I'm telling everyone, when you hear it, go for it. Just do it. I actually took the chemo in my hand. I didn't take a port. I came off the bed when they were preparing me to go put the port in because he told me that it would be a blindsided surgery. And I said, see ya, I'll take it in my hand. So I did the ACT, adriamycin, cytoxin, and Taxol. And the first one, let me tell you, my hair was like about here, my natural hair. And the first dose of chemo, which we're all afraid of, because Camille and Pastor Ross, while I was doing therapy, while I was going to the hospital to see the doctor before I started therapy, I saw some people. Some of them, they had no hair, no eyebrows, and you're talking about me, the queen. And I can't see myself without hair, and I can't see myself without eyelashes. And then one day this lady came to me and she sat and she said, good morning. And there was no teeth.
Oh.
And I said, what's wrong with your teeth? And she says, chemotherapy did that.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to do that, but I did it anyway. And here I am today, a living testimony, telling people and encouraging them that cancer is not a death sentence. It is a time to live. It's how you receive it, I believe, how you receive the when you hear it.
The
That's
diagnosis.
what's going to be a diagnosis. That's what's going to make you live or die. Because fear loves everything in life, loves fear. And when
Hmm.
fear takes you over, you can't process anything, and then your body system begins to die down. But for me, I began to go for the things of the earth, and
Yes.
you can go there. Yes.
Wow, wow. I have to say that I I'm so glad that you have such a positive outlook as you talk about your journey with this, because I believe that that is what kills a lot of people is first the diagnosis, and it tears people down really bad, you know. So like you, when I got the diagnosis, my one of my main concern was I didn't have any daughters. Who's going to help take care of me, because I had all boys. I came home, talked to my husband, talked to my sons, and they said, Mom, it makes no difference. Okay, we're going to take care of you and do
Mm,
whatever we need to do. We don't care about your body or anything else. We're interested in making sure that you live, you know.
mm.
And my hair kind of like came out on the backside and got started coming out, and then it started coming out. So you know what I did? I went to the barber. I said, cut it
Take it
all
off.
off, but just leave me a little bit of bangs here. Just cut it all off. So yeah, I did. You know, I call my girlfriends. They're all scattered now, but six of them, they showed up at the house.
Mm.
And I was laying on the couch, and they said, "Get up off of that couch, put some clothes on. We're going out."
That's
And
right.
we went out to lunch, and we laughed. So now they didn't know each other, okay? Because these were girlfriends over the years, but when I shared with them, they got together, and
Oh,
that makes a
blessings.
difference too. Who's
Wow.
standing beside you when you get the bad news? Do they run off, or do they come up and say, "Hey, girl, I'm going through this with you. I got you."
But let me tell you something. I had my work support. If I had to get that team together again, I would make it with them. They didn't leave me, but one of the good things is that I worked through the entire process. I had
Wow.
surgery on a Tuesday. I went to church the Wednesday night, and you got to walk the wall. I walked the wall. I went to church. I lift up my hand, praising God as if nothing happened. And the funniest thing, like she said, they told her, get up. I went home from the surgery the Wednesday, and I wore, in denial, sort of, kind of, you would say. I had on an altar back dress, and I went home and I got two bobby socks, and I made my breast, and I put it in, and I said, Mom, let's go down Main Street to go shop. So my cousins, they called me and they were crying, oh, I heard you. So they said, I'm flying in. So they came, and I came out to them. They looked at me and they said, why you lied to us? You have breast. You lie. I said, I didn't lie. But here's what happened. My best friend, I met her at work. And by the time I came home that Wednesday morning, she and a male friend, all three of us hang out. One had the prosthesis and one had the bra. And they say, I don't care if it fits you. We bought it a little bigger. You better put this thing on, girl, because we can't imagine you without that goodie. And trust me, it worked. And we laughed. So, one of the most important things I've come to realize in life is that good friends, people who are loyal, people
Mm-hmm.
who are understanding, good friends. They say in Jamaica, good friends are better than pocket money.
Pocket money. Mm-hmm.
Yes, good friends, loyal people are important to you. When you don't have families, if you can have just two good friends, yes, it will be all right.
I have to clap on that. For sure, for sure. That is so right. Man, you have to have somebody standing in your corner. And my oncologist, I tell people all the time, if you walk in and you find out that that doctor doesn't line up with you, then you go find you another doctor. My
Not a sign.
oncologist, she became my friend while I was going through. And told me, she said, let me tell you something. I had my surgery on Valentine's Day. And
Oh
she said, I'm
no.
going to give you
Wow.
some. She said, I'm going to give you some good news. I said, what is it? She said, them girls ain't going to never stand up like they're going to stand up today. And I was like, okay, okay. So She was
But
there
my
through the
understanding,
whole thing. You know, I lost both breasts. I was really, really worried about it, that I just wasn't gonna be the same woman and everything. But working with her, it was so great, so
I
great.
want to give you the downside of this because it's not all peaches and cream. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you can attest to that. After I lost my breast and I got married, got divorced, got remarried, and you think that this person would love you for who you are. Because you have one, but I didn't get back the prosthesis. I didn't get the breast redone as yet. I got it done 8 years later. But the reconstruction. But when people you hear over here, the person who is supposed to love you saying, I don't want her with her
Mm,
one breast,
mm-mm.
you know? And then, people are referring to you as, you don't know the one breast pastor because you tell your testimony. And they don't know that you overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of your testimony. And so my testimony, it should be a testament to somebody else's life. But you hear
Yes.
people saying, oh, you don't, because now you don't have a name no longer. It's like you're driving a Benz. You don't know my friend with the Benz. So here it is. You don't know the one breast pastor. And trust me, I was not ashamed because I know that they're talking about it. I would go on the platform and say, God has healed me. I am wearing a prosthesis. Yes, I am the one breast pastor, but I got the word. I carry the word in me. And so the word brings life, and I'm here to give someone life today. And so the downsides of things, sometimes you feel lonely. I used to go in the mirror, Pastor Ross and Fabulous, and sometimes you're like trying to lotion your body, and I go, oops, it's not
Mm,
there. It's
Yeah.
not there. But no one ever knew that I had any bad days concerning this because I came out like the star I was and I am, and I shone at all time. I shine because I've learned, like I told you, life has taught me how to live it.
mm-hmm.
Life has taught me how to live it. And so with that, I said, I'm going to live. It has taught me to not be nasty to people because you
Mm,
never know what somebody's going through. And funny enough, I've never seen a lot of cancer patients until I got cancer. Then a
yes.
lot of patients would come up with me, and I'm like, no, I can't fare. But one of the things that made me wanted to live on purpose is when one day I was sitting down and I saw that Shriner, is it Shriner, one of them kids medical hospital, and the little boy was going through chemo
Oh,
and he
Lord.
lost his hair and he had so much life. And after he did chemo, he was in his walker walking fast. And I said, yes, if he can do it, I
I
can do
can,
this.
yes.
I can do all things through Christ
Christ
who
who strengthened
strengthens
me.
me. And so I
Mm-hmm.
do not go on the strength of man and I do not go on the strength of my own. As I'm speaking to you, I did a double shift last night and I'm going back shortly because I have a reason to live. Somebody's depending on me. Somebody's
Yes.
depending on my word. Somebody's depending on my motivation. I get stopped throughout the day, asked, how does your skin look so beautiful? Psych. Thanks to, how does your hair look so beautiful? Miss Nadine, you're so beautiful. Tell me how you do it. The other day, a young lady said to me, how do you stay happy after all you're going through? And I said, did you hear the key word? Through. I'm not stopping there. I am going
Amen.
through. Yea, though I
Amen.
walk through the valley of the
Value of
shadow of
shadow
death.
of death, I
So
will
I am
fear.
not, and he's daily renewing me with benefits. So I can go. I think about you, young lady, and I want to live because I got to live for you. I think about, and I have no children biologically. But I have so many children, and God has blessed me with, when people used to call me barren and stuff, I stood up like Anna one day and I went to Liberia and God coined me with a beautiful son. And I can truly brag to the world, I have a son.
Mhm.
I have a son,
And I met
right? And
him.
and then God brought to me a stepdaughter, and I have a daughter.
Amen.
Plus, I have many godchildren. So when you think about how God created you, and He said, "Before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you, and who I foreknew, I predestinated." God knew that I wouldn't have children. God knew that I would go through this. So I said to the devil, "Devil, what more can you do to me? Because if you put this on me, guess what? If I die, you still ain't gonna get me."
Amen.
I belong to Him, honey. You've lost the fight. But here's another thing that kept me going. Herbs. Herbs. And I know,
Natural
Camille,
herbs.
you have your backyard filled with that.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
herbs, I blended everything green, even when it tasted yucky. I blended callaloo and string bean and okra. And all I
And
blended with was some
Cersei.
coconut water. And I had neem to the 10 power bitter. And I ate uh, dandelion, and you could just see it just coming through my pores. Good health.
Good health.
I came off bread, but more than all, I had laughter with my greens. Listen, I would make sure I laugh every day because I've come to learn that the stresses of life, when I was in nursing school, I learned that we have good stress and bad stress, which
Stress,
is called
yes.
eustress, eustress. And so I said, okay, so it's okay to stress, but not to the point where it's tearing your body down. And so I'm living.
And you're living beautiful, okay?
Thank you.
You're living beautiful. You are what we call the unstoppable woman that no matter what the devil throw at you, you step back and you hit it right back at him. Now, Pastor Dorothy, is there any question that you would like to ask?
Well, not so much a question it is, and don't get me talking, but if you had to share one thing with the viewers about getting past the diagnosis, what would you tell them?
Fear not.
Mm,
You cannot live in fear. Take it by the bull's horn. Whatever life throws at you, use it for the good. You know, they say when life gives you apples, you make applesauce or apple pie. Just take it. Anything that comes you, if you're going through a divorce, what can you do? It's not good for you. You're going to stay there and die. You're going to divorce, right? So
mhm,
you got to go to school. You got to do a class that's going to cause you to matriculate in your studies. You got to do the class, right? There's no way around it.
mhm.
Just fear not. Go for it. Walk up into it. Just in it and say, "Here I am, ready or not, here I come." So
I like
have
that.
no fear. Yeah, have no fear.
I
Mhm.
love that. I love that so much. I know that uh people get diagnosis, and when they get the diagnosis, um it doesn't make a difference what anybody says to them, because the first thing they say is, well, it's not happening to you. But one of the
Mhm.
things that I always say is, okay, if you need to cry, you need to shout, and you need to cuss today. It's okay for you not to be okay today, but you're going to get up off your tail tomorrow. And you're going to
Mhm.
begin to pray and call on the Lord. And you're going to ask Him to strengthen you through whatever it is that you've got to go through. And then you're going to ask Him, how do you proceed? If you truly believe that God orders your footsteps, then you ask Him to order you through this situation. I say, and He will actually do it. God gave me peace, even though you said you had to have one breast removed. I had to have both breasts removed. But guess what?
Mm.
I didn't let that bother me. I kept on moving just like nothing had ever happened. Okay. Because I just didn't, one thing, I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. And
Amen.
I did not want to give the devil any good news at all.
I love that. I
And in
love
order
that.
to do that, I had to get up and go. Even when I didn't feel like going, I had to get up and go. you know. So
I
I
got
am
married.
so glad, huh?
I got married during chemotherapy. It
Mm,
gave me hope. I
Mm.
was busy with my bald head and putting wedding together, so you just got to get up off your butt, like you say, and you have to have the faith to believe that with God, all things are possible. Many
Mm.
people, I believe that when they hear that it's cancer, they start thinking about the children, what's going to happen to my children.
mm,
Well, be not dismayed, whatever betides, God will take care of them,
Yes,
yeah.
he
right?
will. Yes, he will.
And so you have to think about you. And one of the things is, every one of my scars, because boy, do I have scars around here. Every one of my scars tells of my victory. And so I'm not afraid to look at it. I'm not afraid to walk. I'm not afraid to do anything. I'm not afraid to tell my story. And so I wrote a book called The Power of God. And when I got the
Mm.
opportunity to co-author in that book, I was like, God, how am I going to do this? Because the book that I really have to put out is called I Have Scars Too, which will be coming out in March. I Have Scars Too. And it's talking about all the scars that led up to this. And because believe it or not, there are things that pushes cancer to us,
Hmm.
life troubles. It can be first thing the doctor will ask you, what kind of sentinel event you had in your life, a major event that caused you to get here. So I had to have the faith to believe that God is going to bring me out. Let me not think about it anymore. And there will be no reoccurrence. And if there's a
Mhm.
reoccurrence, God will fix it again like he did before. So I had the opportunity to write in this book with a lot of great women, the power of God, right? The
Mm.
power of God. And in the book, it's edited by Linda Ellis Eastman, and she's in Kentucky. And we have a great network there. It's called Professional Woman Network. We go there every year for the anniversary, and women from all over the globe. I haven't seen you there yet, but I'm sure you will come. I'm going to invite you guys every year, and it's the anniversary. And she's just a doll. This woman empowers women from all over. We come together in a melting pot in Kentucky, and we have an awesome time. And so this book is called The Power of God, and this is volume 2, which I was able to go in. And I'm going to give you a little excerpt from my chapter, which is chapter 5, and it's called The Faith to Believe. And it says, now faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I said, in the journey of life, we often encounter trials and tribulation that shake the very core of our being. We
True.
face rejection, illness, and despair, wondering if there is a higher power who cares for us. It is during these moments that our faith is tested and we are called to believe in the power of God.
Mhm.
This chapter explores the remarkable stories of my unwavering faith and the witness of God's transformative power in my life. I spoke about childhood rejection. I was rejected by my dad. And then I talk about surviving the unthinkable, which was the cancer. And then I talk about the person who, the power of belief. Then I talk about a special man in my life, apart from God, who raised me to be this strong as I am. And
Mm.
so that was my granduncle. He raised me. And so I wasn't afraid to call his name, but this book is a must have. We have 16 women who have co authored in this book, and you can pick it up on Amazon. And it's The Power of God 2. They have number 1 and number 2. But in this, women tell their stories. And I'm sure you'd love to meet some of these women too. And, I'm giving away a book today to someone who wants to read and who believes in the power of God. And mine is chapter 5. And 5 is what? Grace.
Grace,
So
grace,
God has
grace.
graced me with a new life. And I want to be a blessing to someone as well as Pastor Ross and you, Camille. So any of your listeners or viewers, they can get it, and I will let you have it so we can mail it out to them, or they can
Okay.
send. You can send it to me. But this is a must read, and you must read chapter 5 because it tells of a little of my journey in life. And you can stay tuned for the rest which is to come. I have Scars 2 and Be That Woman. My next two books, I have Scars 2 and Be That Woman. I never thought I would be a writer. I never thought that, um, oh, I never thought that I would shake a president's hand. I never thought a first lady would put her hand and pray on me. I never thought that I would be in places. But this, believe it or not, has opened doors for me. And so I'm so excited about my next evolution, my next evolving, because every day that I've learned to live more, live stronger, and give more of me. Despite the challenges that come, you cannot back up and say, I'm not going to be good. I'm not going to be kind to people. I have more stories, but that's a whole nother time. We'll do that in June.
Wow.
Wink,
Well,
wink.
we definitely have to have you back again. We
Yeah.
definitely will. So I am so excited that you took the time out to join us. And for everyone that's going to be coming back for the replay, you need to pay attention and take note. One of the things she said is, life has taught me how to live. Don't be afraid to live. Yes, you have a diagnosis. Yes, this is going on in your life. Yes, do not stop your life because something like this come up. Because God is always working on us. And taking from Pastor Nadine now, don't just stop. Fight. Don't sit on the couch like Pastor Dorothy was doing, and her girlfriend said, "Get up, let's go." We have to fight for what we want.
It's true.
Life is precious. We have to keep fighting no matter what. I just wanted to say thank you for sharing your story with us.
It's a
Thank you for
pleasure.
giving us the opportunity to jump deep into that private part of your life where nobody wants to talk about. But here on Porch Talk Live Worldwide and Let It Rip, we come together and have conversation where nobody else will have. And we appreciate your time.
Thank you
That
so much for having me, you both.
I want you to share if people want to connect with you, how they can do that. And then I'm going to tell you some things that I got out of your story that I began to write down.
Okay. It's Thrive Wellness and Life Management. I do have a company where I do life coaching, youth mentorship coaching, and also we do herbs, concoct different herbs for healing and wellness. And I am also a motivational speaker and a pastor. So you can email me at thrivewelllife@gmail.com. The website is down. I don't know why. I'll have to get back to that. Or you can call me at 407-312-5525. That's 407-312-5525. And I will always answer you. And my company is called Thrive Wellness and Life Management.
Hey, if you can put that in the chat, that would be great. Now, let me tell you what I got out of this whole conversation.
Tell me.
And then we're gonna let you get up and go to work and uplift somebody.
Yeah.
So in the end, I love starting at the end and then going back to the
Working
beginning.
backwards.
So the end for me was there is a good promise that God has already given us in the end after the process. So we
Yeah.
have to learn how to embrace the process, okay? Regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what we've been told, we got to embrace it because we got to go through it anyway. So embrace
Amen.
that.
Amen.
That's for
Live
sure.
with faith and have a purpose while you're living. Don't
Yeah.
just lay down and die and give up, okay? You got to keep going. Then you got to focus on the win. It once you get through this, not if you get through it, but once you get
Once.
through this process,
Yeah.
what are you going to win in the end? There's always a prize at the end, okay? Then surround yourself with loved ones. And a lot of times it's not our families that we have to surround ourselves with. So whoever that person is, wherever that group is, that is positive and they're telling you that you can make it and they're going to walk with you, then you need to hang out. Then I need you to make sure that you celebrate the woman you are after the process.
Yeah.
But you need to also celebrate her while you're going through the process, okay? And then you got to believe you are the one that will keep moving and living through life. You become flexible like a rubber band, and
Oh,
regardless
yeah.
of what happens, you're going to pop right back to where you need to be in life, encouraging someone else, telling them there is a reality in
Yeah.
serving a living God.
Mm.
And as
Wow.
always, you can always connect with me, Pastor Dorothy Ross, and the fabulous Camille Robb at womenrockinglife@gmail.com. And we are always happy to get people on our show that has something that's going to help someone else. I don't like that somebody done me wrong song. I don't like those type of interviews. So we don't have those here. If
Right.
you
Happy.
have something that has lifted you up or that's lifting someone else up, you got to find another show. You can't come here because we're not going to
Not
have
over
it. I'm
here.
telling you, okay? So, and the Bible never promised us that we were not going to go through some things. It didn't promise us that, but it did promise us that God would go through it with us. He would not leave us, neither would he forsake us.
Forsake
And we
us.
have to trust and believe in that. I know we're human, and I know we go through, and we get sad and we want to just go somewhere and die, but don't do it. Don't do it. Call me. Call the fabulous Camille.
That's
You
right.
can even call the ambassador, okay? We will slap you back to your senses, okay?
Reality.
We will
Yes.
do that for you. We do not want to lose you in the process, okay? A lot of people forget that as they're going through the process, that God has promised us something on the end if we just get through it, but we got to embrace it and get through it. Any last words,
Mhm.
fabulous Camille?
So I just wanted to say again, thank you, Pastor Nadine, for coming and for sharing your story with us.
Thank you
And
for having me.
it was you have blessed us more than you will ever know. And we will
Amen.
have you back on the show because I know there's so much more
Bless the Lord.
conversation. Oh, yes, that we need to have.
We'll come
And
back on Women's Month.
yes, we will be back.
Yes.
Now, as we leave here today, always remember God is always working on us. Regardless of what's happening in your life, stay blessed, stay safe, and stay absolutely fabulous. And don't forget, Porch Talk Live, worldwide, Let It Rip is here, listening to the conversation, and we're